What's up, y'all? Today we're gonna do a 2023 NFL mock draft. It's been a long time since we talked football. Free agency got really quiet. We saw Odell Beckham got signed. We saw Jeff Okudah got traded. But besides that, the NFL has been really quiet. So today we want to come back today with some more NFL content. We could talk about Jalen Hurts signing that big contract briefly. I think it was appropriate for what Hurts has showed. He's shown improvement in every single season he's been in the NFL. He's shown that if you put enough around him, he can take a team to a Super Bowl and all perform well in that Super Bowl. Not good enough to win a game, but you know he can take you there. And if you don't face Pat Mahomes again, maybe you can win your Super Bowl.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's the closest you could probably be without winning it. Playing against the Chiefs, but playing against Pat Mahomes, like he did about all he could do. You know what I mean? He had 3 touchdowns that game. He played a pretty good game for the most part. Obviously, that fumble didn't help him, but I mean, the Eagles in a pretty weak. The NFC isn't getting much better, so the Eagles kind of can run it back again. 51 million is insane. Obviously, like Mahomes set the market when he first signed his deal, and like
It's not
Mahomes
really
should be.
51 million though. It's a very big signing bonus, and
Yeah,
when it's
it's
broken
what
down over
175, I think guaranteed, or 173
yeah,
guaranteed.
it's
Yeah,
179 guaranteed. When it's
but
like
still, hearing 51 million a year, like hearing that he's the most paid player or highest paid player in the NFL. Um, what is
he's not
Mahomes
really
isn't even
though.
top. Mahomes isn't even top 3 anymore, is he? For
Next year,
contracts?
Patrick Mahomes will be the ninth highest paid quarterback like next year.
That's insane. It's so crazy, so crazy. But that's how it goes. Everyone gets a new deal every
Yeah,
other
it's
year.
just
So
with the cap hits, like Mahomes' cap hits
mhm.
is not that big, and neither are Jalen Hurts. I think they did the contract beautifully. It's back in it, it's loaded in the back end. So if Jalen Hurts still at that level at the end of his contract, then he'll rightfully be getting paid that money. But I think the team will suffer a little bit. So they want to hurry up and try to get these Super Bowls, try to get a couple Super Bowl wins in his first couple years in the contract. But
Yeah,
moving on to the mock draft, I think Max is going to go first with the first pick. Over the last couple of weeks, we've seen a lot of interesting conversation surrounding these prospects. So I think some of the I think
some of the picks
yeah,
might switch up. Um, Obviously, I think one is the most. I think we know it's going to be Stroud or we know it's going to be Bryce Young. It keeps going back and forth. Obviously, I still think I still think it'd be weird for either guy to go one because I think there's both like some issues with teams and fit and everything. But um, with the first overall pick, I do have the Carolina Panthers selecting. No, let me re-say that. With the first overall pick, the Carolina Panthers select Bryce Young. Um,
Bryce Young. I mean, yeah, that's my QB1 as well. I
I
think
think I think after the Wonderlic test and everything too, like I think a lot of guys are looking at him as like whatever. He had like one of the best scores, and CJ had one of the worst scores. Not to say that that tells you you're going to be a good football player or not, but I think the only thing that people are hating on about Bryce Young is his size. We've seen small quarterbacks work out in the NFL. Um, Obviously, it's better to be tall. You can see over the defense. You know what I mean? Like it's obviously better to be tall, but like smaller quarterbacks have worked out. We see Kyler Murray. We saw Drew Brees. Obviously, Russell Wilson's not the tallest guy in the world. Like it can work out when it goes well. So I think to be honest, like anybody who's gonna go to Carolina, like has the keys to the offense. He like basically can do whatever they want. So if they try and build a team around Bryce Young, I think it could work. I do like him the best. I think he's the best prospect quarterback wise in this draft. Um, yeah, I think I've been going back and forth with it. I think both guys could be picked, and I'd be surprised if Stroud goes one. I'd be surprised if Bryce Young goes one because I could see either guy getting it. So
with the size thing, I think it's different between Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson and even Drew Brees because his body mass is just not the same as theirs. He needs to put some more weight on. I think he's put on like 15 pounds on his draft process, but Bryce Young is also my number one overall prospect in this draft, my number one overall quarterback. I think he's a playmaker. He's been compared to like a point guard. I feel like he just the way he's able to the way he's able to you know make plays outside the pocket, make
decision
plays
making.
inside the pocket. He has an NFL level arm. He can make every single throw. I think he doesn't have the biggest arm, but he can make plays like on the run, just making like spectacular throws in his sleep with his eyes closed. I think Bryce Young's ability, he just has like insane ability. I think he's more athletic than he's given credit for. I don't think he can be used as a rusher in the NFL, but if he's asked to scramble, I think he can. I think he just needs to slide down, not take a lot of hits. I think Carolina is going to have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL next year. So he'll be able to stay in that pocket, be comfortable. Obviously, in the NFL, he's going to take some hits, going to be under pressure. But I think
They
people.
just need weapons. They need weapons bad. We'll look at
I
that farther in
mean,
the draft, but they need weapons.
they can draft some receivers in the second round, and I think they also have if I'm not
They
mistaken,
signed Thielen.
they
They
signed
signed
DJ
Thielen. They got
Thielen, DJ Chark. So
they got Thielen, Chark, and Miles Sanders. Who Miles Sanders I think helps, but I mean we can't sit here and say that Adam Thielen is still a great
I don't
receiver.
think he's a
DJ
wide
Chark
receiver
has
three in
potential.
his. I don't think he's a wide receiver three in his NFL. But I think having Thielen as your two, maybe DJ Chark as your one, and then getting somebody later in the draft. I don't think the weapons are going to be that bad. I kind of like it, especially in that division. They can definitely compete.
That's the only. It's the worst division of football. Besides, I
Right.
think it's the worst division of football. So I mean that's cool, but when you meet, I mean you play 8 games against them, that's great. When you get to the playoffs, your ceiling's not
Well,
your ceiling's not very high.
he's a rookie, so I don't dare think about making the playoffs this year. So
I'm saying for the years to come, you need to address that. I think going
they're
forward.
gonna get weapons down the line, and maybe even weapons later in the draft. And
But
with
at the same
the reason
at
Bryce
the
Young
same time, though, is it crazy to say that the Panthers could be the team that makes the playoffs because they have a good defense? Their running
I think
game
the Saints
showed
will
good.
make
Their
it,
O
but I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers made it. But
I don't.
I would want to say though, Bryce Young has shown his ability to ceiling raise, floor raise, however you want to say it. Like this past year, Alabama, he didn't have the best weapons, and he got them to 10 wins. And he consistently he didn't have.
It's
He was
different on
getting
a
open. He
college
made
level
plays outside the pocket.
I get you. It's different on a college level than a pro level, in my opinion.
I think he'll show ability to ceiling. I mean, floor raise in the NFL as well. I think he gonna make work with receivers that he has, but I think they'll also upgrade as well. So yeah, I'm not worried about Bryce Young in the NFL. He's my number one overall prospect.
All right, you got two.
With the second overall pick, the Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud. I've been hearing a lot of chatter after this test that C.J. Stroud may not go to. That the Houston Texans may not even take a quarterback, which I can understand. That DeMeco Ryans is a defensive-minded head coach, and he may want to either trade out of this pick and build and get more assets. He may want to build around defense and then address quarterback maybe later in the draft or next year with Caleb Williams. But I think C.J. Stroud, it could be a really good.
You
The
cut
best
out. Hello.
offensive lines. I cut out.
You cut out there for a second.
I was just saying I think the Texans gonna have one of the best offensive lines of football next year. Their weapons room got a little bit better this year as well. They got Dalton Schultz, they got Robert Woods, they got John Mechie. That's just to name a few. And I think in the pocket, C.J. Stroud is the best quarterback in his draft class. It was when he was asked to extend plays, is when you saw concern or he was facing pressure, concerns. But he alleviated that pressure against Georgia when he balled out against them outside the pocket, making play after play after play. Did enough for that team to win. The kicker just missed the field goal. Now, I think C.J. Stroud can be compared to someone maybe Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, and I think he's leaning more towards a Dak Prescott, just bigger, because I think he can rush as well. He's coming out the pocket. He's a great leader. His demeanor, he's very mature for his age, and so I like what I've seen from C.J. Stroud so far in his draft process. I don't think that test should be held over his head like that, because I don't know if that's isn't that a recent 5-year thing?
What, the Wonderlic?
Yeah.
No, I think it's been going on for a little longer, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if the Wonderlic test. I'll look back at other quarterbacks, but I don't know if it's the one telltale sign that someone's going to be a good pro or not.
I mean, Josh Allen did well on it. Patrick Mahomes did well on it.
I mean, yeah, I gotta look back. I don't know who did or who didn't. As far as who I take, I am under the assumption where next year's quarterbacks are phenomenal quarterbacks, better than this year's. If they were in this year's draft, they go number 1, number 2. So, and I get it. You can't really take a season to tank, especially NFL, because that's when guys get fired. That's when, you know what I mean? People start losing jobs, and that's not great, obviously. So you don't want to tank. But if they can, I think if you get Will Anderson, if you trade out and get 2 picks, DeMeco Ryans, the defensive guy, obviously. I love Will Anderson. I think Jalen Carter could be good. Tyree Wilson, I think those 3 guys are obviously great prospects. If someone really wants Levis, Richardson, Stroud, whatever, they could trade up. I would love for the Texans to go down, get Will Anderson. I don't know if you do something like get Hendon Hooker in a late round or something, but like do something with the quarterback position, where Davis Mills is not the only guy in the quarterback room, but you go for next year and you hope that Caleb Williams is there to pick out one.
Or Drake May.
I like Caleb
They
Williams
can
more than
get two
Drake
and
May,
get Drake
but
May. I think Drake. I'm really high on Drake May as a quarterback. But obviously I love Caleb Williams as well. But I think Drake's a suitable option as well. I think he can be a very good quarterback. Reminds me of
yeah.
Justin Herbert a little bit. So
I think regardless, I think whatever. If I know you gotta assess your issues now, like do what you gotta do now, right? Like I don't. Does D'Amico get fired if they have a bad year? No. But is there someone in the front office or offensive line coach, someone who could get fired? Yes, like someone could get fired in their team, and that's not great. But if you just want to tank for a year, because you're not going to be good anyways. If you get C.J. Stroud, or you don't. I would tank for a year and just go for one of the top quarterbacks next year. Address the defense, get generational defensive prospects to build around right now, and go.
all right. So I think 3 is interesting spot right here because they already have quarterbacks. So
yeah, we're doing no trades, so
yeah.
Arizona will still select. But if there is any pick that's traded in the top 5, it's obviously going to be Arizona. I think Chicago might move back in the top 10, but like I think Arizona is the one pick everyone's going to be watching. So, with the 3rd overall pick, the Arizona Cardinals select Will Anderson Jr. Not much to be said. He's, I feel like, the best prospect as far as defensively in the draft. Less like off the field stuff going on with him right now. Just pretty safe, clear pick. Like obviously Jalen Carter, I think a lot of people love, but he came to his pro day a little overweight. He was tired. No one's doubting that the talent isn't there. Just is the work ethic there or whatever. So I think Will Anderson's the safest pick right now, and I just go Will Anderson 3. Is that fair? You agree or disagree?
No, I agree with that. I just think I think Jalen Carter is the best. Jalen Carter is the best player and probably best defensive player in this draft class. But all the off the field issues, the thing with the tragedy with the other Georgia football player is really like eye opening for me. So I wouldn't select him at 3 either. I think he is a high risk thing as far as off the field issues. I think he probably he struggled with stuff off the field in his NFL career. And that's very reasonable to assume, especially with all the stuff that's been happening. As of late. So I think that's the case with another Georgia player as well, just not as of the notoriety. So yeah, I don't disagree with you taking Will Anderson Jr. at 3. And so go ahead.
I was gonna say we'll figure it out at 5, but you got Tyree Wilson or Jalen Carter going higher in your mock drafts or in your mind?
I got Tyree Wilson going because of the offensive field issues for Jalen Carter. I think the teams will stay away from him because it's no question about his talent, but now that he came overweight into the combine, it's questions about your mental health, probably questions about your work ethic. He may be going through a lot right now with all the stuff that's happening, and so you can look at it from that way as well. Is he going to be ready for day one in NFL? It's a lot of risk drafting Jalen Carter, but as far as talent, it's unquestioned.
There's been stuff about Chicago saying like they're not going to let him fall past 9. And I don't think he'll go to 9 anyways. But if he does go to 9, I think Chicago will scoop him up, and I think that'll be a steal. So
no, that definitely would be a steal. I would take 9 if he fell to 9. That's a long drop. I'm ready to go here with the 4th pick.
Take it.
With the 4th overall pick, the Indianapolis Colts select Anthony Richardson. I think as far as like ceiling, Anthony Richardson has the highest ceiling of any quarterback in this entire draft class. He's a freak of nature. I don't think I'm as high as other people on him, but you have to bank on what his potential could be. I think the fit is perfect there with Shane Steichen coming over from the Eagles. He's worked with Jalen Hurts, and I think Anthony Richardson is a much more athletic, much more physically gifted, a better runner than Jalen Hurts, and he can call design runs for him, use him exactly like Jalen Hurts, and just develop him as a passer. I think they need to put some more receivers around him. But if Indianapolis end up getting more receivers, in that he can be deadly. And with development, maybe I'll probably like try to sit him 1 year, but I don't think they have another option at QB right now. I have to go look on their roster, but I wanted Anthony Richardson to sit for a year to develop a little more. But
they got Sam Ellinger, I think. Is that like their starter for this year?
Yeah, I wouldn't have him sit behind Sam Ellinger. It would cause too much of a distraction and all that. But I think maybe even game reps can get him better. But they didn't work on him. His passing mechanics, I think his medium Passing is what really concerns me. He has a very beautiful and big arm, deep ball. So I'm not worried about that part. But it's the intermediate passes. It's fitting the ball into tight spaces. So he has accuracy concerns for me. I think Josh Allen's an outlier. I think in the NFL, you see your completion percentage drop in reference to college for most people. I think people will usually have higher completion percentage in college than they do in the actual NFL. So they would need to work on him like a lot. He has that. This is the biggest high risk, high reward player in the
Player
entire
in the
draft
draft.
class.
Yeah. Yeah, I got nothing to disagree with. I don't like Will Levis as a prospect, so if you're going quarterback, I'd go Anthony Richardson.
I don't like him either.
Um,
I think he's more polished with throwing the ball, but um,
Ceiling, I don't think his ceiling's high at all.
yeah, not me either.
All right, with the 5th overall pick, the Seattle Seahawks select Jalen Carter. I do like Jalen Carter over Tyree Wilson. I just think his ceiling's higher. I think, especially, I don't know. I think D tackle is a very underrated position in football. Like we got Aaron Donald. Like if you have a dominant D tackle, you can dominate in trenches. So I think Jalen Carter, if you could add him to your football team, obviously I think Seattle's offense is pretty good. If they could go quarterback here if someone falls. I don't think they will. Their big issue is going to be the defense side of the ball. And I think their front seven's going to be what they look at. So it's Tyree Wilson, Jalen Carter. I'll pick Jalen Carter. I get the off the field issues. People are worried about whatever. I'm still cool taking him at 5. I think it's fine. So I think the only person I'd really have a debate of him taking over Jalen Carter is Will Anderson. He's already off the board, so I'll go Jalen Carter.
Yeah, that's an interesting pick. I would probably would have took Tyree Wilson just because of the off field issues. But you taking Jalen at 5 makes it interesting for um the Lions at 6 because I'm under the impression that they should probably take a another pass rusher alongside Aiden Hutchinson. Obviously they obviously have holes in the secondary that they can fill, but I think they did a good enough job to fill those holes. In free agency, I think this corner draft is very deep, so they can get a quality corner later in the draft. They have number 18, who they can probably use on the corner, or maybe a tight end to fill TJ Hawkinson's spot. But I think you can get even a good corner in the second round. So with that being said, with the 6th overall pick, the Lions select Tyree Wilson.
My biggest thing is like obviously everyone's got their draft boards, right? I think the top 3 cornerbacks in the draft are Witherspoon, Porter, and Christian Gonzalez, right? No order.
Yeah.
That's the top 3. I don't know. I think especially if Tyree, Carter, and Anderson are all off the board, like they gotta have one of those cornerbacks higher than the other 2, right? So I get it. It's a deep cornerback draft, but I don't know. I think they're. I mean, I think they're pretty. Like I know they signed Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I know they signed Cam Sutton, and we've been talking about it with Jeff Okudah. They traded Jeff Okudah, and I get whatever he didn't play, but they still traded a cornerback away who played whatever who had some decent time last year. So you
He
need to
was
replace.
good. He was good as a tackler. In coverage, he was terrible. I think getting CD Gardner Johnson and Cam Sutton is you can get another cornerback later in the draft class. The secondary is almost solidified. You just need one more piece, and I think a rookie could do that,
Yeah,
yeah, for sure. But you can get
I
another a good corner
especially,
later in the draft.
but with the hits in the past couple of years, Sauce, Terrell, J.C. Horn, PS2, like cornerbacks have been hitting, right? Receivers have been hitting. Like some of these guys have been transitioning very well to the big leagues, and I think especially in a division, I get it. The Bears got DJ Moore. Packers, you could say Christian Watson. He hasn't broke out yet, but you got to defend DJ Moore and you got to defend Justin Jefferson more importantly. So can Cam Sutton lock up Justin Jefferson? Maybe, but if you want to take a hit on someone else, I'd say go for it. Um, I think I, I don't know. I think Tyree Wilson could obviously be good. But I would prefer to go cornerback here. I'd probably go Devin Witherspoon at 6. Um, I like him, but I'd probably go Devin Witherspoon at 6 just to try and lock up, to try and contain Justin Jefferson, DJ Moore. Um, yeah, solidify that. I think it's probably easier to find. You there? You cut out for a sec.
Yeah,
Are
I'm
you there?
good. We good.
I think it might be easier to find front 7 help in free agency than it is to find secondary help. So I think like going forward, if they need to address those problems, I think it's going to be easier to address the problem of front seven than it is in the secondary. So with that being said, though, with the 7th overall pick, the Las Vegas Raiders select Devin Witherspoon. I don't think there's really much to be said. I think they need to go cornerback in a division with Russ, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes. You need to get that secondary up because that defense was terrible last year. Maybe the goal line to address that, but I think the defensive issue is so much worse than the offensive issue right now. They don't have much of anything. Max Crosby's really the only thing that's really working for them. So I think you got to go secondary, especially in that division. I think Devin Witherspoon's the best right now, so easy pick.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna go corner. I don't think I'm gonna go O line. The O line is okay enough. It's okay. It's good enough.
A
Josh
lot of
Jacobs.
these, a lot of
Josh
these mock
Jacobs
drafts
was
have
the
been
leading
picking
rusher for a reason.
Skoronski. I know,
Yeah.
but a lot of these guys have been picking Skoronski.
Yeah. So you just took was that 7?
7, Devon Witherspoon. You're 8 with Atlanta, I believe. Yeah.
With the 8th overall pick, the Atlanta Falcons select Chris Gonzalez. I think he's the second best corner in his draft class. It's between him and Joey Porter. Yeah, I mean, they could go D line right here.
Yeah, I don't get that pick as much. I don't know if I agree with that pick.
They could go D line here. They just got Jesse Bates.
They just got Jeff Okudah. They have AJ Terrell. They have the cornerback position locked. I think I get it. You said Okudah is bad in zone, bad in coverage, whatever, good tackler. But they traded for him for a reason, so I think he'll get minutes. You got AJ Terrell. I think the bigger concern is going to be front seven. So I would say going with Nolan Smith, going with I don't really like Brian Brzee. Go with Nolan Smith. I don't know if you want to go O-line. Maybe it's just Nolan Smith because I think you're not going to reach on a guy like Lucas Van Ness. I'm just trying to look through anybody on my board. So I would have gone Nolan Smith. But, yeah, I mean, it's tough. They got to go defense. But
they definitely got to go defense. They did draft. They did make secondary. I actually forgot about that. But, I mean, I'm not high on Jeff Okudah, but they did get up capital for him. So, it's like
he will be playing.
Yeah, he'll be playing.
So,
yeah, he'll definitely be playing.
Am I up at 9?
Hold on one second.
My pick's pretty easy at 9. My pick's pretty easy at 9.
Give me 1 second. Max. Okay. Yeah, you can go ahead.
All right. With the 9th overall pick, the Chicago Bears select Paris Johnson. Not much to be said. I like Paris Johnson. I think he's the best O-lineman in the draft. There was like Taylor Lewan. You know Taylor Lewan, right?
Yeah.
He went to go watch his workout. Said his workout was phenomenal. Like, honestly, I'm not no lineman. I don't know the techniques and stuff, but if you have someone like him, like complimenting him that much, I got to give him a little bit of credit. Moves like a tight end, just whatever. He has the chemistry with Justin Fields. I think it works out very well. He's cool playing different positions. He's cool playing everywhere. He wants to go to Chicago. Like, I think it works out perfectly. I really want Paris Johnson in this draft. Yeah, not much.
I think Peter Skoronski, or how you say his name, is probably going to go here because one, it's from Chicago. I
agree. That's what Chicago always does, and it pisses me off. We always pick a Notre Dame or Northwestern guy. It's so dumb.
Yeah, they need lineman. He's from Chicago. He's one of the highest graded linemen in the class, and so I think they'll take him. And just for that reason only. And that's been the history of their franchise. Is what they do. They draft people from Notre Dame. They draft people from Northwestern. They draft people from Illinois sometimes. So it's like.
I get it. They always draft hometown locals, guys who grew up in the area. But I want Paris Johnson so bad. I'm going to speak it into existence.
That's not a bad option though. So
he fits so much better because he's literally okay playing different positions. He's okay jumping around the line. He said it multiple times. He's like, they were talking to him like about if he wants to go play for a different team, like would he switch for a different tackle or guard position? He's like, yeah. And then he was talking about like his favorite teams he want to go to. Chicago was in the top 3. Like he wants to be a Bear. He wants to be here. He's already played with Justin Fields. He understands that he's out of the pocket. He's mobile. Like he moves fast. He could be a lead blocker. Like it fits so much better. And I'll be pissed if we don't take him. All right.
Now at 10 here with the Eagles, it's kind of the same thing like you said with the Falcons. They lost CJ Gardner-Johnson, but they did upgrade like
Like what?
They upgrade. Well, they upgrade, but they brought somebody in. I forgot who it was.
I don't know. They re-signed
Greedy
Darius
Williams.
Slay.
They brought in Greedy Williams. They brought
Oh, I
in
didn't know they got Greedy Williams. I didn't
yeah,
see
they
that
got
in free
Greedy Williams
agency.
from the Browns. They got Darius Slay, Greedy Williams. They got they who else do they have?
Bradbury's
They still got
left.
Bradbury. Yeah, so they can use. I think they can use a rookie, but they did just sign Bradbury. They did just re-sign
I
Darius
feel like
Slay.
there's. I got two options here. I think I'd rather go cornerback here than I would for Atlanta. That sounds crazy because you got Slay and Bradbury, but I'd rather go cornerback here than I would for Atlanta. But I have two players in my head who I feel like I'd go.
I mean, they could probably go Nolan Smith, maybe. I don't know.
Huh?
I said they probably can go Nolan Smith.
To make your pick, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna go corner. With the 10th overall pick, the Philadelphia Eagles select Joey Porter Jr.
I think I would have gone with Nolan Smith just from the fact they lost T.J. Edwards and Kazir White, right? That's the last name.
Yeah.
Like I think you lost some linebacker help, didn't really get replaced. I would have probably gone with Nolan Smith, but I don't hate the pick with Joey Porter.
Yeah, son of an NFL player. He's very good at sending on receivers hip. I think they had amazing secondary last year. They want to keep with that team. Now I think they have the depth to already have. They already have a linebacker. I forgot his name. They have a linebacker stepping up for the loss of T.J. Edwards and Kaiser White. They have one. I forgot his name, but I
Hassan
think
Reddick's still there, right?
he
Am I
is.
tweaking it?
Hassan Reddick is still there. I think they're gonna have someone stepping up. I don't think they're gonna drive. I don't think they're gonna drive a linebacker. They could take Nolan Smith though. I'm not.
I could see him taking Nolan Smith. Who's there? I'm with you. I can't think of their linebacker. N'Kobe Dean.
Yeah,
N'Kobe
N'Kobe
Dean.
Dean has
That's what I was
shown
thinking
flashes
of.
last year. I love N'Kobe
N'Kobe
Dean.
Dean. Yeah,
I
N'Kobe
love
Dean. I
N'Kobe
forgot
Dean,
about
bro.
him. Okay. My pick is kind of easy, I'd say. With the 11th overall pick, the Tennessee Titans select Will Levis. I'll go Will Levis here. I think if he falls this late, I think some team will trade up for him. I personally don't like him that much as a prospect. That's cool, but if he falls this late, I know some team's going to trade up for him. I think Tennessee will take him here because I don't think even though Malik's only been here, what is Malik? That'll be his second year coming up, right? Malik was a rookie this year, right?
Yeah.
Malik's with Kenny Pickett this year, yeah. So I don't think Malik's the answer. And even if he is, bringing in a rookie and having some quarterback competition, I'm sorry, can't hurt at all. If you have Malik and Will Levis both competing for the starting job, they have no direction right now. They're in a really weird spot. Obviously have Derrick Henry still. So it's like you're kind of wanting to win, but at the same time, no. Made the playoffs. No, they didn't make the playoffs this year. Yeah, they're in a weird spot. So I think to do a rebuild, to trade Derrick Henry would be great. And yeah, just for the sake of competition, have Malik and Will go head to head for a quarterback job, really just to see who can pull it off. Yeah, just you gotta. I don't see anything. They have holes. Don't get me wrong, but biggest hole is quarterback. So I think Will Levis. I don't think Will Levis will fall to the Titans. I don't think the Titans will pick him because I think someone will trade up with Chicago. Someone will trade up with Philly, and they will end up trying to get Will Levis. Some team obviously has to love him. Yeah, so I think whatever. Regardless, he'll be gone by 11.
With the 12th pick, it's pretty easy for me. You want to pair CJ Stroud with his former college teammate. That's shown some success in the NFL with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith and other examples like that. I think Tua and Jaden Waddle too as well. So that shows some success in the NFL. I think you want to replicate that with the Texans. It's like familiarity. It's like bringing your best friend to the NFL with you. It's like a dream thing. So with the 12th overall pick, the Texans select Jackson Smith-Njigba.
I get it. I'm not gonna hate on the pick. I was gonna talk to you about it a while. I was gonna talk to you about it at 10 but I forgot. Picking a receiver early obviously isn't crazy, but I know the hype around Bijan Robinson, right? Would you pick him in the top 10?
I just saw a mock draft with him going 10, which is crazy. It's no way
10. I see 10 a lot to Philly. 10 a lot to Philly.
It's no way. It's no way he's going 10 because
I like it.
it's a weird situation because Philly already has so much that that getting
Still,
Bijan at 10 would be kind of crazy and overpowered for them. But it's like drafting a running back in the top 10 has shown to not be successful with Leonard Fournette, and even to limit St. Cloud Barkley with the injuries he's suffered, and just running backs in general flaming out by like 29 at the latest. So it's like, besides like Derrick Henry, so it's like,
yeah,
don't take them
I
early.
think
Don't take them early.
especially
You can
with
get them in
that
the second round. You can get them second round. You can drive a running back every year and be good. To be honest,
with their team too, like their leading rusher is Jalen Hurts. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
like Miles Sanders
But
obviously got
I don't think that's
touches. He
ideal.
played.
I don't think that's ideal.
I understand, but Kenneth Gainwell played good last year. Who they just signed? They just signed the guy from Seattle. Who is it again? Rashad Penny.
Rashad Penny.
Rashad Penny. I think Rashad Penny can fit well in that role. Like I'm not. Rashad Penny was a good rusher when healthy in Seattle. I don't think they need to go running back, but we're not talking about the Eagles. I was just curious about that. I don't mind the fit with JSN. That's cool. They need a receiver. Obviously, you don't want Robert Woods or Nico Collins to be your number one receiver, so that's fine. I like the Dalton Schultz pickup. I do think Dalton Schultz is a good tight end. Damian Pierce obviously is a good running back. Had a solid year last year, so if you can get another weapon for CJ Stroud, it can't do anything but help him. So I think maybe O line's a pick here, or the defense side of the ball. If you're trying to go, if a cornerback slips,
We had 13,
um,
right?
no, we're talking about 12. I'm sorry,
Oh,
I was talking
okay.
about 12. I think maybe they go O line. I think you could go cornerback. Like there's a couple different options, but
I
Aaron
think their
J
O line is solidified.
with what? Oh yeah, they just signed Tunsil to a big deal.
Yeah, and
But
Celso literally takes a whole side up to he protects your whole blind side. If he's on the field, they're not getting sacked from that side. I think the rest of their spots are good enough. I don't think they take a lineman right here where they can get one later in the draft because linemen are deep. That you can go almost fit like to the fifth round with linemen, sixth round with linemen. So
it depends.
I
It
think
depends on
it'd be more
if you
important
get
to
a
get
hit.
the best wide receiver in the class to some people and that familiarity with CJ Stroud. So yeah, I think they should just, putting Jackson Smith and Jigga in the slot could be deadly for them, and
I'd
that just upgrades their weapon room even more.
I don't know. I think it's also a deep class for the receiver. I think there's a lot of receivers on the board, a lot of guys who have that chance to break out, who have the chance to be a great player. So I think you could
But they
also
don't
land
have
a
that
receiver.
familiarity though with CJ Stroud. That's a big thing.
Understand. I'm just saying, like I get like the Jamar Chase or the Jamar and Joe Burrow thing, but it has worked out with other players. Garrett Wilson obviously is in the familiarity. He's there. Chris Olave is in the familiarity. He's there. Like there has been case where receivers that broke out without that. Uh, anyways, with the 13th overall pick, the New York Jets select Peter Skoronski. Whether they get Rodgers or not, O line is still an issue as far as health. Mekhi Becton obviously keeps getting injured, so I think obviously
Uh,
going to try and start both.
What's his name? Honestly, Vera Tucker.
Elijah Vera Tucker.
Yeah, him. He could be injured too. So yeah, I
Yeah,
understand what
so
you're saying.
I think whatever, just to have another lineman to back him up. Obviously, I think Paris Johnson is great because of his versatility. He wants to play different positions. He's cool with it. I don't know what Skoronski or Broderick Jones are talking about, but yeah, I think Peter Skoronski's the pick. I think they're pretty set up everywhere else. Maybe they go Nolan Smith as a linebacker option, but they're fine at receiver. They're fine at running back. They're fine at secondary. I think like they're okay. I'd say front seven and O line are the only two places you go, and I think their front seven's a little better as far as health and everything. So I'll go with the O lineman.
So we have 14 here with the
14
Patriots,
with the
right?
New England Patriots.
See, I was going to try maybe like shoot at like Will Levis if he slipped, but you got taken by Tennessee. So
I don't see a world where he drops down to 14.
yeah, he may not. It depends. Um, with the 14 overall pick, the New Orleans Patriots select Broderick Jones. I think upgrading that O line would be very good for him. He's one of the best O linemen. I don't even think he left up a sack at Georgia. Was part of that dominant O line that helps Stetson Bennett be so great. So yeah, I think they go O line here. Obviously, Paris Johnson is gone. Peter Skoronski is gone. So I think Broderick Jones is next up on the list of being the 30 best lineman in the draft class. So I think it's pretty clear cut. That is going to do it for our mock draft. Later next week, the mock is the draft. I think we're going to do one more before next week. It's going to be a full 30-team mock draft. So tune in for that. Tune into our social medias up there. As you can see, we have Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We're about to hit 1,000
Followers on
1,000
TikTok.
followers on TikTok, and that's really big. So we can start going live and increasing our following that way.
We've been doing a lot more. We've been doing a lot more guests. We're having a lot more guests on. Obviously, a lot of stuff's heating up with the NBA playoffs. I'd say our videos have been pretty entertaining as far as recording. I've had a lot of fun recording the past couple episodes, just because as the playoffs get here, so many of our different narratives, so many of our agendas are getting played out. It's just been a lot to film. So I'd say tune into especially the next couple of episodes as we keep going. We do have a couple of guests coming on, so I'd say just keep tuning in, keep checking out all our socials.
And also, subscribe to the channel if you got this far. We really appreciate it. We about to hit 200 subscribers. We have 190 right now. I want to hit 200 pretty soon. It's been almost 4 months, so that'd be a big milestone. Hitting 200 this early. I'm excited to keep recording podcasts, keep growing, and every single follower, every single comment, every single like just inspires me a little bit more. So keep watching, and thank you for tuning in.
Appreciate you guys.